every year we expect Huawei to wow us with their new flagship smartphone. But today, they just blew everybody out of the water. This is the HUAWEI Pura 80 Ultra, and it is the undisputed king of mobile photography right now. And to prove that, we are putting it up against another Ultra, this time the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Which one of these phones will come out on top? You probably already know that. Now, before we dive into the whole photo and video face-off, let's talk about why the HUAWEI Pura 80 Ultra is such a big deal. Now, this phone has the world's first switchable dual telephoto camera. What that means is that it physically flips between a 3.7x optical zoom lens and a 9.4x optical zoom lens, and is paired with a massive sensor, the biggest one ever put in a telephoto lens in a phone. So what's the big deal about this camera setup? Well, the thing is, this particular phone can switch from a 3.7x to a 9.4x optical zoom lens depending on what you need, and the zoom level all on the same sensor. So the reason why that's a big deal is because since both lenses use the same sensor for the zoom levels, there's no weird brightness shifts or color shifts that usually happen on other phones. That means the only thing that changes here is the zoom levels. Everything else, your color profile, everything is still the same. And since the telephoto sensor is so huge, your low light images are killer. Taking good low light shots using periscope cameras are usually very difficult because of the smaller sensor compared to the main sensor, but because of how huge this camera sensor is, that's not going to be the problem. The S25 Ultra, on the other hand, uses the same setup that other smartphone brands use. You're talking about a 10 megapixel f2.4 3x optical zoom lens for closer snaps and a 15 megapixel f3.4 5x optical zoom lens for farther shots. Its optical zoom tops out at 5x, so anything beyond that is just digital zoom and cropping out the photo. When you're zooming in at 3.7x or 9.4x, the Pura 80 Ultra steals the show, especially for those up-close portrait shots. Its crazy high optical zoom gives you pro-level spatial compression that you'd expect from a DSLR with a telephoto lens, not a smartphone. If you're outside seeing, the Pura 80 Ultra's insane zoom levels lets you pull far off stuff way closer, and you're doing it without any AI trickery or digital cropping at 10x. Something the S25 Ultra and other phones can't do. Like I said earlier, low light zoom shots are usually a pain because you really don't get a lot of detail with telephoto sensors, but that has changed with the Pura 80 Ultra. Just take a look at these photos in comparison to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Now, there's a reason why people in China call this phone the night vision telescope. Now, the telephoto camera on the Pura 80 Ultra is pretty awesome, but really it is the main sensor where Huawei really flexes its muscle. Now, the phone is rocking a 50 megapixel 1-inch ultra lighting HDR camera with a variable aperture that swings from f1.6 to f4.0 based on the lighting. But the real star of the show for this phone is its insane HDR capabilities. When it comes to dynamic range, most phones max out at 13 EV, maybe 14 EV if you're lucky. But this phone has a dynamic range that's measured in 16 EV stops. Now, to put that in perspective, professional cinema cameras like the Red V Raptor is capable of putting out 16.5 EV values when it comes to dynamic range. So this phone is basically playing in the big leagues. This is a movie level dynamic range that fits in your hand. So ultimately, what does that mean to you? Well, the HUAWEI Pura 80 Ultra is able to capture a wide range of brightness from the darkest of dark to the brightest of bright without blowing out the image. It's all thanks to Huawei's work with their Ultra Chroma X-Mage technology and the sensor behind it. Take a look at all of these shots. The contrast here is amazing. Just take a look at the dynamic range available for the HUAWEI Pura 80 Ultra. It's just pretty insane. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra has got a beefy 200 megapixel main camera with a fixed f1.7 aperture lens It's pretty solid for what it is, but it is not quite on the same level as this smartphone. Now check out these comparison shots. The Pura 80 Ultra's extra dynamic range makes photos look vibrant and full of life, while the S25 Ultra's pics can come off a little bit flat. Now, low light shots take it to another level. Now, those extra dynamic range stops means the Pura 80 Ultra's images don't look like they're juiced up by software to hide noise. Now, the detail it captures without blowing out the fine stuff, that's Huawei showing off its camera chops. Oh, and the Pura 80 Ultra isn't just a still shot champ, it's a video beast too. Now, we've been using this particular phone for weeks and it's been a total rock star. Just take a look at the comparison videos between it and the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. You will really see the difference in the quality. Both phones can go all day without needing a charge, but the difference here is that the Pura 80 Ultra has a bigger battery and also charges way faster than the Samsung Galaxy S25. The phone can charge up to 100 watts via supercharge, and the included charger, which Samsung doesn't really give you with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And if you don't like wires, you can just go with 80-watt wireless supercharge option on the phone. Now, design-wise, I'm actually drawn more to the Pura 80 Ultra's curves rather than the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra's flat back. I think this is a lot more interesting to look at and is definitely more comfortable to hold. Plus, Huawei's phones are tough as nails thanks to their second generation Crystal Armor Kunlun glass, as well as its IP69 rating. Now, both screens are gorgeous, but Huawei's X-True display is capable of cranking out over 3000 nits of brightness, outshining the S25 Ultra's 2600 nits. There's also a big difference here when it comes to RAM. The Pura 80 Ultra gives you 16 gigabytes of RAM versus just 12 gigabytes on the S25 Ultra. Now, Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra really put up a good fight here, but let's be real, when it comes to smartphone photography, the Huawei Pura 80 Ultra is really the undisputed champ right now. With top-notch optics, unreal image quality, switchable telephoto lenses, insane ultra-dynamic range, and low-light skills that feel almost magical, it leaves Samsung in the dust for photos and videos. If you're all about taking the best photos possible with your smartphone, there really is no contest here. The Huawei Pura 80 Ultra is the phone you need to buy right now. You're definitely not going to get disappointed. And that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you for staying until the end. And these two phones are awesome. Unfortunately for Samsung, the Huawei P80 Ultra is really the best for mobile photography. If you have any other questions about this phone or any other phone that we featured in this channel, just put them down below. We will try to get to them as we can. Until next video, my name is John. See you in the next one.